What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously here. Once again, I am back for my Week 7 NFL predictions. Now, Week 6 was not our best week. We went 7-8, which is our first losing record since I've been doing this on YouTube. So, let's hope we can bounce back for these picks. Before I forget, I want to thank everybody who watched my Week 6 predictions. I was really surprised of how many people saw it, like 460 plus views on that video, 10 comments, 3 likes. Very happy. And of course, I am very happy that you guys commented who you guys think was going to win. Hey, we had a conversation, which was great. And I also love the support you guys gave me. A few people on there gave me some big time support. So again, I want to thank you guys all. Keeping me going with this. This one gets better. If I keep getting these good numbers, I may be doing like college football picks, and I am gonna be thinking about doing college football. Like when it comes to the bowl games, I'm gonna be picking my 30 or how many games there are in the college football bowl season going to the college football playoff. I will be doing those when we get to December. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. Of course. Letting you know that my Hell in a Cell predictions will also be out next week, either Wednesday or Thursday. So just you wrestling fans who do watch my predictions, just be ready. It'll be on either Wednesday or Thursday. But let me get right into these picks. Let me start off with the buys. Of course, Dallas and Carolina are going to be on buys. And, well, Carolina definitely needs a buy after this week. And Dallas, well, they're on a roll. And Jerry Jones better be on his toes and say Dak Prescott is the starter. Not Tony Romo, Dak Prescott, because Dak is the future of the Cowboys, and he should be starting every week till the playoffs. So again, those are my opinions as a football fan. So don't take them to heart. This is just me and my opinion about the Cowboys. So let's get right into these picks. We're going to start off with the Thursday night matchup. The Chicago Bears heading to Lambeau to play the Green Bay Packers. Now, both of these teams did lose this week, respectively to the Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And of course, if you did not hear, the Packers did make a trade for Niall Davis from the Kansas City Chiefs, so they have a good backup running back with Eddie Lacy. If he doesn't play, Niall Davis is a good addition to the lineup. So this is a good sign for the Packers, for sure. Then you have the Chicago Bears, who are, again, a rebuilding team, as I said. So in this matchup, I am going to take the Green Bay Packers to beat the Chicago Bears. Now the next matchup, it's another London game, so it's a 6:30 start. 6:30 start on the West Coast here in California, and a 9:30 start on people on the East Coast. So just if you're wanting to watch this game, if you're a Giants fan or a Rams fan, as your timetable, 6:30 in the West Coast, 9:30 on the East Coast. So just be ready. And of course, the matchup is the New York Giants playing the LA Rams, and this is an LA Rams home game. This should be a good game. I mean, the last London game I picked, I was wrong. So I'm hoping I can bounce back with this one. And with this, I am going to take the New York Giants to beat the LA Rams because after what one team, the Giants coming off a win, Rams coming off a loss, but a close loss. So I'm going to go with the Giants in this one just because it's OBJ, a lot more offense, and of course a strong defense with the Rams, but too many weapons on the Giants' offense. So I'm taking the Giants over the Rams. Now the Sunday slate, the 10 a.m. West Coast, 1 p.m. East Coast. Starting with the Cleveland Browns heading to Cincinnati to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cleveland Browns, of course, the only winless team in the NFL right now, and they both lost this week, so they both lost to their respective teams. Of course, Cleveland lost to Tennessee, Cincinnati lost to my Patriots. In this matchup, I am going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to win because it makes more sense because Cleveland's got really nothing to go for right now, other than of course, NBA season starts this next week with the defending champion Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Indians, who are one win away from the World Series. So really, the only thing that's saving Cleveland right now is their baseball team and their basketball team. and a few college teams if you want to count Ohio State, if you want to count Columbus Blue Jackets in hockey. But Cleveland is only good for those teams except for football. So I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Cleveland Browns. Now the next matchup, the Washington Redskins heading to Ford Field to play the Detroit Lions. Now, of course, both teams coming off a win. Washington beating Philly, Detroit beating St. Louis. Very close game. Very back and forth. This should be a good game, being it's in Ford Field. This is a good matchup. In my opinion, I am going to take the Detroit Lions because, again, I've been picking against the Detroit Lions, I think, a couple picks ago. So I'm taking the Detroit Lions this time to get it done to beat the Washington Redskins. Now the next matchup. The Indianapolis Colts heading to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. Now the Indianapolis Colts, both teams are coming off, well, one team's coming off a loss in overtime, one team's coming off a win. Of course, Indianapolis lost to Houston on Sunday Night Football in overtime, and Tennessee did beat Cleveland. Two teams in the AFC South who are kind of not, like, they're trying to see which one's better. So coming from me, I am going to go with the upset here. I don't know if I'm going to get this right, but I'm taking the Tennessee Titans to beat the Indianapolis Colts this week for sure. Now the next matchup, the New Orleans Saints heading to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, of course, both teams coming off wins. Of course, New Orleans beat Carolina, and Kansas City beat Oakland. Unfortunately for Raider fans out there, this should be a good game. Of course, Drew Brees went off this week, which was amazing against Carolina. 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards. He did good. KC coming off a big-time win against Oakland. Of course, Smith did it all. Smith, Charles, Kelsey, Macklin, and all the crew. So, in this matchup, I am going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the New Orleans Saints because it's in Arrowhead. It's the third loudest stadium in the NFL. Of course, I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks are the loudest. Seattle Seahawks, I would say the second loudest stadium in the NFL, of course, being number 1 is Seattle and then Kansas City. So if you Kansas City fans out there disagree with me, please tell me. I know Arrowhead is loud. Arrowhead has always been the loud stadium. But coming from me, I think Seattle's the loudest. So once again, I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the New Orleans Saints. Now the next matchup in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills heading to Miami to play the Miami Dolphins. Now, of course, the Buffalo Bills are back on a winning track. Both teams are coming off a win. Buffalo beating the Niners and Miami surprisingly beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'll get to the Steelers' biggest woes when we get to the Patriots and Steelers game. But this matchup should be good in the AFC East. I mean, and coming for me in the AFC East, the only team that can actually give us a problem is really the Bills. But again, they did beat us with a backup quarterback, so that's not really a win. So I can't really count that as a win for Buffalo. But in this matchup, I am going to take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Miami Dolphins because I think Buffalo is a better team than Miami in the East. No offense. Now, next matchup, the Baltimore Ravens heading to New York to play the New York Jets. Now, of course, they're both coming off of losses. Baltimore losing to the New York Giants and the New York Jets getting just shellacked on Monday Night Football. So, this one was tough because I'm picking Baltimore. They lose twice. And the Jets, I think they need a win. If they start Fitzpatrick or they start Geno. I mean, it's either or. We're going to either get Geno good or Geno bad, or Fitzpatrick good or Fitzpatrick bad. So in this matchup, and I hate to even say this, I am going to take the New York Jets to get a win here. I'm hoping they can win this week because they can't get any worse. They're last place in the East. They can't get any worse. So I'm taking the Jets over the Baltimore Ravens. So do not let me down, Jets and Jets fans. So what do you call it? Now the next matchup, the Minnesota Vikings heading to Philadelphia to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Now Minnesota's coming off a bye. This could be bad. This could be biblical ass kicking game for the Philadelphia Eagles because they're coming off a loss against the Redskins. They don't have an offensive player for 10 games because of a PED charge. So this could not be a good game. This could be a bad game for Philadelphia fans and Eagles fans alike. But in this matchup, I am going to take the Minnesota Vikings because they're rested, they're coming off a bye. It's going to be bad, so Minnesota will beat Philly. Now the next matchup, the Oakland Raiders heading to Jacksonville to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now this is Jack Del Rio's first game back against Jacksonville, his old former coaching team. Oakland, one team's coming off a loss against Kansas City Chiefs, and one team's coming off a win over a very upset win over the Bears, which they could have lost, which I'm talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, of course, Oakland is my team to win in the AFC East. The AFC West. I'm sorry, the AFC West. If it's either going to be the Raiders or the Chiefs, and coming from me, I'm hoping it's the Raiders because I know there's a lot of Raider fans here in California that been with the Raiders, the Silver and Black Raider Nation. And, I have so much potential in them this year because they have so much talent. They have Derek Carr, they have Amari Cooper, they have Michael Crabtree, they have Latavius Murray, they have their defense. But they do give up a lot of points on defense. So, again, they need to work on that. So in this matchup, I am going to stick with my hopeful team in the AFC West, the Oakland Raiders, to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars because I think Jacksonville, that was maybe their one win that they're going to get. That's going to be their one win in a couple weeks. So I'm going to stick with the Raiders over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now the next matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to Santa Clara to play the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a bye, so it's another team that's coming off a bye, but they are going to the West Coast in California, in Santa Clara, with the 49ers, which Colin Kaepernick is starting. We do not know if he's going to be starting that game, but I would not be surprised he starts, or it's going to be Blaine Gabbert. It's Chip Kelly's decision. Chip Kelly switches it up all the time. And also injury news: if you have Carlos Hyde, just keep an eye on him because he is questionable. He got hurt in that game against Buffalo. So if you have him on fantasy, make sure you keep an eye on that till Sunday. In this matchup, I think the 49ers got to get a win. So I am going to take the 49ers to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I think they can't get any worse. I mean, the worst team right now is Cleveland and the Carolina Panthers. They can't get any worse. So I am going to take the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the next matchup, the San Diego Chargers heading to the Georgia Dome to play the Dirty Birds of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the San Diego Chargers, one team's coming off a win on Thursday, and one team's coming off a controversial win, but a controversial win against my Seahawks. So, of course, San Diego looked good. I mean, their coach is on the hot seat. They have to keep winning to keep his job. I mean, they looked good. Melvin Gordon looked good. Phillip Rivers looked good. Antonio Gates looked good. Defense looked good. Joey Bosa did pretty good in that game. He came in, he came out, he came in, he came out, but he played. That's one good thing for Chargers fans, that he at least played. So that was good. Then you have the Atlanta Falcons, who did lose by a non-call, which, of course, if the refs don't see it, they're not going to call. Like, the refs see what they want to see. If they didn't see the call, then it's not like they were saying it was a pass interference on Sherman, and again, that's, what can you say? It's it's either they see it or they don't. Man, they didn't. So don't bitch. Like, come on, people, come on, Falcons fans. You're the first place in the NFC South. And you're bitching about one call that's not going to impact you this whole season. So, Falcons fans, man up and stop bitching about it because it's just one game. Wait until you get to the playoffs. Oh, wait, you guys are 7-12 in the playoffs, so there's not a lot of, coming from me, there's not a lot of trust there because their record is terrible. Their playoff record is 7-12. I mean, come on. The Falcons are 7-12 in the playoffs, yet they usually are close to first place every year in the NFC South. So, coming from me, I think Atlanta definitely needs this win to bounce back after that loss. So, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons to beat the San Diego Chargers. Now, the matchup that I would have said this was going to be the best matchup of Week 7. But the biggest loss happened in this game. And now I'm talking about the New England Patriots heading to Heinz to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, of course, the New England, they're both, one team's coming off a big-time win. Tom Brady's returned to Gillette. What does he do? He throws 3 touchdowns. And I did say that in my Week 6 predictions, he would throw 3 touchdowns. He hasn't missed a step, and can you blame him? He's Tom fucking Brady. He doesn't miss a beat. Of course, James White did work. Gronkowski did work. Blunt did work. Martavis Bennett did work. Everybody did work on the Patriots team. I'm very happy. Of course, it's my team in the AFC, my favorite team. And then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who did get embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins, which was shocking. But the biggest loss, they lost Ben Roethlisberger. He had surgery yesterday for the the Miami Dolphins tore Ben Roethlisberger's meniscus, which again is not surprising because the Miami Dolphins usually do this. They hurt Garoppolo with the Patriots. Now they lose, and now they hurt Ben Roethlisberger, and he is officially out. So if you have Ben Roethlisberger on your fantasy team, make sure you have a suitable backup quarterback. Now with Bill and Brown, I keep them in, but don't expect them to have like 20 points every week until Ben is back. And Landry Jones is going to be starting. Of course, I know him from Oklahoma. He was a great quarterback in college, but he's no Ben Roethlisberger. And now he's going to have to play against Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. This could have been a great hard pick to make, but this is maybe the easiest pick to make. So I am going to take the New England Patriots to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now the Sunday night matchup in the NFC West. The Seattle Seahawks coming off a big-time win against the Atlanta Falcons at home. Hey, it's not a huge win. It was a dirty win, but a dirty win's better than a loss. So suck on that, haters, because the Seattle Seahawks are 4-1 against the Arizona Cardinals, who did win on Monday Night Football, put an ass kicking on the Jets. This one should be good because Arizona kind of saved their career last night, but it's still Seattle's division. This is Seattle Seahawks division still. Even without Marshawn Lynch, they're doing work. They're doing work with Russell Wilson. They're doing work with Christian Michael. Signing C.J. Spiller was a good idea. Golden Grams, Dougie Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Luke Wilson, the Legion of Boom still hitting motion. So that's great. The Arizona Cardinals are like they saved their career on Monday. So they're grasping. They're just grasping, trying to get back into this division, but it's kind of Seattle's division now. So in this matchup, I am going to take the Seattle Seahawks to beat the Arizona Cardinals because they're my second. There's my second team in the NFC. I have my Patriots in the AFC and I have my Seahawks in the NFC. So 2 wins for my 2 best teams. So Seattle will beat Arizona. Now the Monday night matchup that goes against Monday Night Raw, of course. The Houston Texans heading to Denver to play the Denver Broncos. Now they both coming off. One team's coming off a big win at home, of course, the Houston Texans in overtime, and a team that's coming off their second loss of the season, Denver Broncos losing to the Chargers. Now, of course, Houston looked good. Brock Osweiler looked like the guy that they signed, which was good. He showed up in the clutch as usual. Running backs did good. DeAndre Hopkins did good. Their defense did good. Then you have the Denver Broncos, who, of course, got back Trevor Siemian, that helped, but they, of course, lost. And their second loss in the season, which does not help in the AFC West. Coming from me, and as a Patriots fan, I was happy they lost that game because as long as they're not in the playoff picture, I'm going to be happy. But in this matchup, I am going to take the Denver Broncos because it's at home. It's mile high. You can't go against the Denver Broncos at home. So I'm going to take the Denver Broncos over the Houston Texans. And those are my Week 7 predictions. I hope you enjoyed my predictions. Comment below who do you have this week. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm always up to that. Of course, this is a reminder to make sure you set up your fantasy lineups this week so you be ready for Sunday or for Thursday and Sunday. Just a friendly reminder as a fantasy owner. Of course, me, a fantasy owner, would let you guys, the people, know if you have fantasy football teams to make sure you check those teams. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and become part of the Dangerous Alliance. I will see you in the next video. Peace.